When I find something I like, sometimes I get so obsessed with it. For example, when I hear a new song and I like it, I will play it on a loop for months on end. Or if I like a new recipe, no doubt I will be making that dish for months on end until I cannot stand the sight of it. So as it happens, of course, I'm the same with sewing patterns. When I find something that I really like that suits me, I will make it multiple times. Of course, when you buy sewing patterns, the idea is to use it multiple times. But what happens to me is that if I like it, I will make it multiple times all in one go. So the last 2 months, I was so obsessed. Well, I still am obsessed with this Alexia dress pattern. Let's talk about it. Hello, my name is Justine, and this is my sewing journal. I'm so happy that there's more of you who is following my vlog now. Welcome and thank you for subscribing. I started this channel last year to document my sewing journey. I also thought this is a nice way of finding people who likes the same things. I don't have any sewing friends who are local to me. I also thought that this is a good way for me to practice describing things. I know that is an odd thing to say, but I have a good vocabulary, but somehow when I describe things, I always just default to, oh, that's nice or that's pretty. But there are so many words that could better describe something, especially pretty things. So hopefully I will improve my sewing and at the same time improve my way of speaking. So today I thought I'll share what I have been making the last 2 months. I have been making several versions of this Vikisews Alexia dress. The Alexia is a close-fitting dress with an accentuated waist. It features a waist seam and separate yokes on the top front with gathering on the bottom and an elasticated channel on top. The waist darts have been transferred into princess seams. The back also features vertical princess seams. This dress fastens with buttons and buttonholes on the center front plackets. The short, voluminous sleeves are half raglan and feature elasticated channels on the top and bottom to mirror the yokes. The top edge of the yokes, as well as the top and bottom edges of the sleeves, are finished with rolled hems. The bottom of the skirt is slightly flared. The front and back necklines are deep and wide. Alexia is an above the knee length dress. The recommended fabric for this pattern is any fabric that is of medium weight, soft, and has a good drape but with very little stretch. One of the things I like about this brand is that they not only have different sizes to pick from, but they also do the dress pattern in different heights. Some brands only have two height options, which is the petite or the regular size patterns. With this brand, I think it's easier for you to get the perfect fit since you have all these heights and size options. I'm 5 feet tall and my UK size is 8 for tops and 10 to 12 for bottoms. Those measurements translates to these Vikisews measurements. I bought this pattern 2 summers ago and almost forgot about it. I cannot be sure, but I think this is one of those patterns that I bought when Vikisews had a sale online. I tend to buy my patterns and fabrics when they are on sale. So anyway, last June, I had the perfect holiday for this kind of dress. My friend asked me if I want to join her and her daughter on their European holiday. They are based in the Philippines, so the plan was to just meet them in one of the countries that they plan to go to. So we agreed to meet in Austria. And one of the things her daughter wanted to do in Austria was to do the Sound of Music tour in Salzburg. And I was so glad that she wanted to do that because it's one of those things that I plan on doing but never actually got round to doing it. And I thought this milkmaid style dress would be the perfect dress to wear on that Sound of Music tour.
In the week before the trip, I spent most nights sewing my first version of the Alexia dress. I used this pink cotton lawn fabric that I already had in my stash, which I bought during lockdown when it was on sale. I think this fabric is perfect for this pattern because it has a good drape. I also like that it has a botanical print, which seems fitting for a trip to the Austrian countryside. The dress was fairly easy to sew. The only fiddly part was sewing the channels for the elastics, which had to be done on the front bodice and sleeves. If I don't have my new sewing machine, I would have said that adding the buttonholes was fiddly, but now I know how to set up my machine so that it makes automatic buttonholes. I know it's hard to see in the pictures, but it also helped that I reduced the number of buttons. I wanted to use these floral buttons that I already have in my stash, but I did not have enough. So instead of having two buttons every so often, I alternated between two and one button. Another modification I made was to make the button panels slightly wider. It was because I forgot that Vikisews patterns only has a 1 centimeter allowance on the seams. So when I French seamed the inside of my dress, the dress was a little bit snug. So I added an extra centimeter on the front panel to make it more comfortable. Because of the print of the fabric, it's not obvious that the button panels is actually slightly wider. I was so pleased on how the dress turned out. The only thing that I'm not so happy about was the length of the dress. Looking at these holiday pictures, particularly this one, I think the skirt length should be above the knee like the original design or ankle length.
Having learned that lesson, I made the second version longer.
So for the second version, I indeed made a long version. This black viscose fabric is another one from my fabric stash. Quite proud of myself that I have been using the fabrics that I already have. I was curious to see how the dress would turn out if I use a less summery fabric with the dress pattern. I'd say it turned out well. It's the perfect dress for a night out when you want to dress up but still be comfortable. This is what I wore when I went to see The Devil Wears Prada, the musical in London, with my girlfriend who was visiting from California.
The atmosphere in the theater that night was really fun. I think there was like a buzz of anticipation.
The show stayed true to the film and it was great fun. It was also fun looking back at the fashion of the early 2000s when the film was released.
For this black and white dress version, I used a viscose fabric and I really love it because it's so floaty. I thought a pearl button would be nice because it echoes the white polka dots. The funny thing is, I'm not sure why I stopped with just the one button. I should have at least maybe used three pearl buttons, but I didn't. So let me know if I should do that or I should just leave it as is because it's not really obvious. Maybe that's the point. I'm not sure having just the one pearl button makes a difference. I think it doesn't have enough design impact. I thought it would because it's like the first button. But looking at it now, I feel that the pearl button is a little bit lost. I only have six pearl buttons, so I won't be changing all the buttons. Despite the criticisms I have of the first two versions that I made, I do love them. So emboldened with the success of the first two versions, I thought I will make something a little bit more challenging. So I thought I will use two fabrics to have a slightly different version. I have this viscose crepe fabric that matches perfectly with this chiffon animal print fabric.
So here's the third dress I made using the same pattern. Again, these fabrics are from my stash. I combined a plain viscose with an animal print chiffon fabric. The chiffon is semi-transparent, so I lined the skirt. I like the combination of the two fabrics, but I don't like the fit. The skirt is supposed to be slightly flared, but this version would look better, I think, if it was more body skimming.
Compared to the first two dresses, the third version is the one that took me the longest to put together. In fact, it's not even finished, as you can see in those videos. I'll let you know as and when I actually finish this version. So the fourth and fifth version of this dress was triggered by a fabric sale. As any fabric addict or sewing addict, I love browsing fabric websites at night. And one of my favorite websites had a sale on.
And of course, I have to top up my fabric stash. They had a lot of cotton fabrics that was on offer, and they were only £2.25 per half a meter. I was immediately drawn to this cotton fabric with tiny roses.
I can't decide which colorway is better, so I bought two colorways. But like I said, it was only £2.50 a meter, so I feel very justified.
So I bought 2 meters of this orange red colorway and a meter of the light blue colorway. For this version, I made a blouse and a matching skirt. For the blouse, I just lengthened the bodice of the dress pattern and not added the skirt. I added ruffles on the bottom of the bodice to echo the ruffles on the upper bodice. The ruffles flares out a little bit, so I've tucked them in this video. I made the blouse first and used all the leftover fabrics to make the skirt. I like how the elastics were inserted on the blouse, so I thought I'll use the same method for the skirt. I created several channels for the elastics and adjusted each row of the elastic while I was wearing the skirt to get a better fit. The skirt was already the right length, but I had a strip of fabric left over, so I added a 2-inch ruffle to the hem. I think this skirt is made for twirling. The last and final version, well, at least for now, is this blue version of the fourth version. I used the same floral cotton fabric and this time made a bias skirt to go with it. I wore this set recently when I watched a classical concert here in Newcastle. I think this light blue version will also look good with a pair of jeans. I'm not sure if I will wear it with a red skirt, but they look fun together.
Can you indulge me for a minute and have a look at the beautiful seams of my blouses?
I'd like to show off my neat seams, otherwise only I will see them. I like French seams and bound seams. The clothes are lovely to wear as a result. I also know that they will help keep the clothes in great shape even after lots of washes.
So which one of the five options do you like best?
I like all the versions, but my least favorite is the two fabric dress. My opinion might change when I actually finish that dress, but for now, that's my least favorite. And my favorite version is this red-orange version that I'm wearing. It's fun, flirty, and so versatile. You would think that after making 5 versions that I am done with this pattern. Nope. I am thinking a white, pure white linen version would also look great. I am hoping there will be more fabric sales this summer and I will bag myself 1.5 meters of this white linen.
I hope you enjoyed watching this. Until next time, happy sewing. Bye!